He was the undisputed crime lord of Tatooine, and had almost limitless resources at his disposal, from all major factions around the galaxy. But who is Jabba the Hutt? Jabba Desilijic Tiure is a Hutt, born on the Hutt's adopted homeworld of Nal Hutta. He rose through the ranks of his family's crime organisation by killing his cousins to quicken his dissension through the family's order. By the time Palpatine was establishing himself as a politician, Jabba had taken control of the desolate planet of Tatooine, an unusual achievement for a Hutt at the young age of 80. Jabba began his criminal empire by creating a high-risk gun-running organisation, heading his efforts from an abandoned Bjorma monastery on Tatooine. In this period, the galaxy was undergoing an immense power change, and Jabba, along with Prince Zaya of the Black Sun, chose to follow the tide and bond with the rising stars throughout the galaxy. Needless to say, these connections soon fruited into powerful assets, which Jabba used to his whim. Jabba was quick to expand his organisation into every illegal act in the galaxy: slavery, banditry, and most importantly, smuggling. It was in this career where Jabba met a famed smuggler and future right-hand, Bib Fortuna. Jabba had extensive lists of contacts ready to carry out his will, but when his own cronies could not fulfill a task, he would pay fortunes for the deadliest bounty hunters in the galaxy to get the job done. Jabba had a keen eye when choosing his hunters. In fact, it was Jabba who first recommended Zuckuss and 4-LOM work together. However, not only bounty hunters would queue to work for the tenacious crime lord, Jabba had powerful assets such as major hyperspace lanes that the galaxy's superpowers would bicker over, especially in the Clone Wars when Jabba pitted the Republic and the Separatists against each other to find his young son Rotter the Hutt. Jabba was a known criminal mastermind who would play sides against one another, which would create conflict, and in that conflict Jabba would happily sell weapons to each side. Even within his own organisation, Jabba played an intricate game of cat and mouse, particularly with Gardulla the Elder, another high-ranking Hutt. This rivalry, of course, ended in Gardulla being assassinated by the infamous Jango Fett by feeding her to her own pet krayt dragon, but even the krayt dragon couldn't digest the Hutt, and she survived, but never rose to combat Jabba again.
There's one more thing, Gardulla. Jabba sends his regards.
Jabba, however, never had to pay Jango his bounty due to his demise on Geonosis, but it opened the door for his son Boba to Jabba's high-risk and high-paying jobs. Jabba was known to surround himself in both the highest and lowest forms of entertainment, from extravagant pod racing arenas to brutal fighting pits and dancing slaves. Jabba kept trophies and mementos around him to remind him of his own success. His loyalist of servants weren't even safe from his malicious mind games. He pitted his lieutenants off against each other. This often ended in the loser being fed to Jabba's prized rancor he kept under the throne room. This is hardly surprising, however. Jabba, like many Hutts, had an obsession with violence and other questionable forms of entertainment. However, Jabba himself preferred to avoid combat when he was concerned. For this reason, he allied himself and the Hutt cartel with the Death Watch, Black Sun and Pike Syndicate to retake Mandalore. Not only for the promise of immense profit, but when face to face with a clan of bloodthirsty Mandalorians and 2 Sith, it's difficult to say no. Even when the Empire came to power, Jabba, like Zaya of the Black Sun, continued to rake in his ill-gotten gains. Jabba often used a handy young smuggler named Han Solo to smuggle spice. However, in a run gone wrong, Solo accidentally lost a gargantuan amount of spice to an Imperial patrol. The outraged Jabba ordered Solo to repay him, which of course leads us to the events of A New Hope. Jabba eventually did get Solo back in carbonite form, but his victory was short-lived. Perhaps if Jabba was more patient, he could have continued to rule over his vast criminal empire, but his gluttony cut his plans short, the way many crime lords are.